Ladies and gentlemen, it is only January of 2020, but we are not far away at all from hearing the first bits of information about COD 2020. And this video is quite a long one, but please stick with it all the way through to the end. There's going to be a lot of things which I think you guys are going to like the sound of. Speaking of things you like the sound of, if a 30% discount sounds like something up your street, and code Dalek currently gets you that at gfuel.com. And that includes 30% off the brand new French vanilla iced coffee flavor. If you've never tried it or need a restock, take advantage right now with a link in the description. But whilst we've closed the chapter on Black Ops 4, the new chapter for Black Ops Zombies is brewing. As crazy as it seems, we're only midway through January. It's only going to be a few more months and suddenly everything will become crystal clear about what Treyarch are working on. And that is an incredibly exciting thing to think about because zombies could go in any direction. In this video, I'm going to be discussing a load of points, features and changes that I think if Treyarch done to Black Ops 5, it would make it great. This probably won't be the last video I make about this topic, and I'm sure you guys are going to agree and disagree here, but when I talk about things that I think could make this game great, I'm not talking about stuff like the HUD. I'm talking about real important gameplay things here. If you guys agree with me, you disagree, then let me know in the comments. But I have to start this video off the bat with some very exciting news. That not only is this game releasing on current gen, but it's also releasing on next gen consoles. Now, to what degree there will be a big upgrade compared to the PS4 and Xbox versions, but a job listing back during 2018 confirms that they are indeed working on a AAA title for the next generation. So that is something very exciting to look forward to, seeing how the power of those new consoles can enhance the game experience even more. But what if I told you that there is a possibility that we might see custom zombies on console? If you want that to happen, then drop a like rating on this video right now, because it's not confirmed by any means, but a rumor doing the rounds this week is that the Xbox Series X may support Steam and the Epic Games Store, suggesting that the new console might have a Windows mode that allows players to switch the machine's operating system to Windows 10, and from there you can simply access your Steam and Epic Games Store libraries. I don't need to tell you that this would basically unlock an entirely new library of games that you otherwise wouldn't have on your Xbox, but it also could unlock the opportunity to play the PC version of Black Ops 3, and if this next game supports custom zombies, playing customs on console. Now, this rumor was brought up by Lad Bible, who got this report from alleged insiders in the Xbox community, so this is simply a rumor at this stage, so do take this information with the pinch of salt required for such things, because it does sound incredible if that was the case. And even if the Xbox Series X can't play Steam games in that Windows mode, if crossplay is supported on Black Ops 5, it should definitely involve crossplay between multiple platforms with custom modded content created on PC. There is no reason why that wouldn't work. Many games have mods on console and PC, and I really feel like Zombies needs to finally make that step, and I think that would be huge if Black Ops 5 Zombies supported that. Enough about that. You're here to hear what sort of things do I think would make Black Ops 5 great, and some of you guys will disagree with this stuff, and that is completely fine. But the first thing I'm going to mention is that this game needs to have one storyline. As great as Black Ops 4 was, as ambitious as it was to have two running storylines straight away, it divided a community. You have those that are happy that ETHA's ended now that it's been a 10-year story that's come to a close. You've got other people that want ETHA to continue in Black Ops 5. But then you have people that detest chaos in Black Ops 4 and don't want to see it return. But then there's other people that want to see just chaos in Black Ops 5. Chaos unintentionally caused some chaos. So I think some streamlining into one storyline would be fantastic. Now, in an ideal world, I would love ETHA to return. But let's be realistic here. It's a 10-year storyline. This is the first opportunity Treyarch really have had to go completely off the grid in what we're used to, changing our expectations and starting afresh. I think if this game is going down the routes of a reboot, then perhaps we could see Zombies follow the same thing, and we could maybe get a new version of Aether, which might have some throwbacks to stuff that we have loved and played after over these 10-year games, but ultimately be a brand new story. Story is only the half of it. Treyarch are masters at story, but what I think they really need to hone on with Black Ops 5, which is why people love Black Ops 3 so much and Black Ops 2, is the gameplay was so fun. Mechanics in Black Ops 2 zombies like the persistent perks, the unique features that you'd find on specific maps like only having certain perk machines on certain maps, features like chalk drawings to draw your own wall weapons, and the afterlife and beast mode mechanics, and even super unique wonder weapons. I really feel like it's been a long time since we've really had like that really good feeling of having a good mix of new stuff like that. With zombies, you have a split group. You have those that play because they want to get to high rounds and enjoy that gameplay, and others that are there solely for the Easter egg, and those that are there for both. I sit in that camp that enjoys both, but I feel like a lot of people just enjoy the survival aspect, and a lot of the maps nowadays overcomplicate you with story to the point that you can't always enjoy the survival aspect. I personally don't suffer that problem, but a lot of people that don't play zombies as hardcore do, and I feel like a really great way to solve this problem is for Black Ops 5 Zombies to actually split the mode into two core main modes. You have a classic survival mode, which takes what we know from the maps of Black Ops 2 Zombies, for instance, and straight up converts them into a survival mode. I'd love them to have a little sprinkling of unique Easter eggs and quirks here and there, but have that as one thing, and then have another mode which contains what we're all used to with these maps, the true full-on experience, full-on story heavy, full-on focus on solving and completing that Easter egg. That's something that Call of Duty Mobile Zombies has actually done, where they split it so you can just play survival, or you can do and play the normal map, and then you have a boss fight at the end. I'm not saying make it simple like that, but I think that would be a really awesome idea, because that way you can play these maps in whatever way you want to and not always be shoehorned by story. If I had £1 for every time I've read a comment about how terrible the Black Ops 4 Zombies HUD is, I'd be a millionaire by now. I think it's a no-brainer from that sort of feedback that Treyarch know that, hey, that HUD wasn't exactly a great look, and I'm sure they will fix it. But to me, I feel like less is more with the HUD. The stuff you could definitely say was game-changing is stuff like the point system in Black Ops 4. Up until that game, the point system worked in a way that we all got very used to, and I never saw the point of why it was changed to the way it was in Black Ops 4. Reverting back to that old point system would be amazing, but if they even wanted to reboot and change the formula up entirely, they could completely change the point system into something different that's not necessarily points and buying doors with a certain amount of points. I don't know if that would really change the zombies formula to a point where people would be disgusted by that, but it'd be an interesting prospect, definitely. But for as much stick as Black Ops 4 Zombies has gotten, there were a few things that they got right. I know a lot of you guys watching right now really want the old perk system back, but I don't want that old perk system back, but I also don't want the Black Ops 4 perk system either. If you could somehow mash the two together, I think we'd live in a pretty awesome world, because there's no denying jumping into a map and having the perk machines that have their own unique looks and jingles, the sort of touches which made Treyarch Zombies so special. But for what Black Ops 4's perk system tried to do, it done a few things successfully. It made us realize that having perks like Quick Revive were pointless, and instead just spawn you in with a few self revives. I feel that feature was fantastic, because you're gonna buy Quick Revive if you're playing solo regardless, so yeah, take that away. And then when it comes to Juggernog, I mean, sure, we don't have 5 hits anymore, but you have 4 hits always, which is 1 more than what you had in Black Ops 3, and honestly, it saves you having to waste 2 perk slots on Quick Revive and Juggernog. So as much as I was annoyed at first that they took those 2 perks away, especially Juggernog, I think it is a good decision, and moving forward, it should stick that way. But maybe get rid of the health bar, because that just looks a bit odd. When you think about Black Ops 4's perk selection, we actually got more new perks throughout that year of zombies than we ever have in any other game. You've got some amazing perks like Dying Wish, which is what I would probably consider a crutch, to be honest, Victoria's Tortoise, PhD Slider, Winter's Whale, and some of those perks that I just mentioned like Dying Wish and PhD Slider are so powerful in this this game, they almost become crutches in themselves. So there's just a very difficult balance that Treyarch need to figure out when it comes to the next game's perk selection, so that you have perks purely because you want them for the fun of their abilities, not necessarily because you feel like you need to have them in order to succeed and survive longer. Another thing a lot of people have said is that they just want to see original maps, and I think that's going to be a given now, considering that Aether story has concluded now. We're moving into a new chapter. There's a very good chance this is going to be pure original content, and I think that's what people were so annoyed at with Black Ops 4, that there wasn't a new map, and even I would have loved to have seen a new Aether map. The possibilities of where Treyarch could go for these zombies maps in the future, these themes and locations could go anywhere. People have always wanted like an Atlantis map set underwater, or like a map set by the Egyptian pyramids. It's wild because Chaos was almost the answer to Treyarch being able to go anywhere they wanted, but I don't know if it will continue, because it seems like a lot of people really don't like Chaos. But if you were around in the community during Black Ops 2's season, we all hated the Victus crew and we didn't want to see them return. And when we got the return of our original 4 characters in a new light, we were so happy, because people hated the Transit crew. Now all these years later, they absolutely love those sets of maps and those characters, even though they weren't really fleshed out. So Chaos might have the same treatment down the line. I doubt it though, just by how the community feels towards them, but I wouldn't put like a full stop to never seeing Chaos again, because I'd like to see it based on how it ended, and also just because at the time it seemed like so many people didn't like Chaos. There's also probably a huge amount that do, and it's the exact same thing with the Transit crew. People didn't like them back in the day, but now we finally got another map with those characters, which was awesome. The last point I'll make in this video is just about how the game mode should really be innovating to even higher places. Zombies is all about community, and I feel like with this next game, Treyarch need to implement a ton of features and modes that gather all of the community together to work towards something, work against each other, and ultimately make it a lot more of a multiplayer experience. Imagine the scope of like an open world zombies map like Transit, where there's multiple things happening all at once, things happening on certain days. I'd love there to be zombies maps where over time events would take place within those maps, which would draw people to go back to those, and there'd be things that would change the map entirely, even if it was only just for a temporary amount of time. Bring back those original game modes like Grief and Turned, but adapt on them, and some other modes like Black Ops 2's, which never saw the light of day, was stuff like Race and Meet, where you'd have to race against 2 teams of 4 to unlock the map and race to get to the end. Stuff like that sounds really fun. Could go on for so much longer, but I'm going to leave it here for this video and possibly make a second one in the future when we have some actual concrete news and any announcements about Treyarch's next game. But if this discussion excited you, let me know your thoughts down below. Happy 115 day, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn on the bell so you never miss out on any future videos from myself. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.